Have you ever wondered why Philippines became so popular in terms of freelancing during last years?
So more likely the freelance industry has undergone a significant transformation in the recent years.
But then what's about real experience? How to become a freelancer in Philippines?
One of the major problems that we have would be where to start. Who are you going to talk to? Because you're alone in that journey.
So basically, if you will look on all of those podcasts, you will know what to do. And this is what you can wait for. Have you ever wondered why Philippines became so popular in terms of freelancing during last years? Today we're starting a new series of podcasts that is hosted by me and Sean to help freelancers and people who are hiring them from abroad to find a good match and understand how it can work much more better in terms of global cooperation. Today I have a host, Sean. He will present himself. Go on, Sean.
So hey Anton, so it's really nice to have this podcast with you and really quite excited of what has to come with the topics that we're going to discuss on the next episodes. So quick introduction about me. So again, my name is Sean. I'm from the Philippines and I am currently the CEO and co-founder of NARA Labs. It's a Web3 startup company dedicated to serve um, traders, crypto traders, crypto companies, and business owners with regards to crypto taxation and crypto accounting and bookkeeping. So we're like on the finance management. And of course, it also includes growth, that marketing. So we're also serving clients internationally and locally for digital marketing services. And yeah, I'm also a freelancing coach and mentor here in the Philippines. I'm one of the coaches of one of the biggest communities here in the Philippines with like 200, almost 300,000 members. And I'm a community leader of, more like 5 to 6 communities here in the Philippines dedicated on online careers and freelancing. So, yeah, that's basically me. I do have some, other hats to talk about, but we can talk about that later on in our next episodes. And I'm curious about, uh what are you working on right now, Anton? And can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, definitely. I maybe will bring a small story how we met each other. So my background, I'm Anton. I'm a CEO and founder of Archway Finance. And we're helping freelancers and remote talents from overseas to get their salaries and payments for their offshore jobs that they provide to the Western clients. Usually we're speaking about development, marketing, any digital job that can be done remotely. And the people who are hiring, the companies who are hiring, usually digital businesses related to the agency job, technical startups, any shop, commerce, whatever, and whoever is hiring people to help them with that. So we were searching for the ways how to start to tap into different communities and find more people from overseas to whom we might be helpful. And that's the way how we met together with Sean. So we decided we've seen so many synergies between each other, how we can help to the community in Philippines, how to help companies in Europe, and put it all together. So actually, our ambition is to create a huge set of different podcasts related to different important topics that might be relevant for both parties, and basically finding the synergy between all of that. And Sean, you told that you have a huge communities. First of all, I want to ask you additional question. Why the heck you have started that?
Yeah, yeah.
Why you participating so much on that? It takes a lot of time, and I know that wearing a lot of hats. It's not the easiest job in life.
Definitely, it's crazy because I myself are being asked by a lot of people, how are you able to do that? Why are you like doing this? What's your purpose or what's your driving force to actually make you passionate about what you're doing? And thank you for that because it made me actually ask myself a lot. And it come to a point, or it came to a point wherein I realized that I really love helping out, people. So number one, of course, why am I doing it? I would like to empower Filipinos, my fellow Filipino men to have that kind of social purpose to aim Filipinos through freelancing to make known that there are, opportunities online while working from home, you know, to have that awareness about the increased earning potential. And of course, coming from a corporate world transition into freelancing, I realized there's a lot of things that, our fellow Filipino men could really have that kind of um, benefit from. And so from the moment I started, doing freelancing, it becomes my advocacy to actually share about it. And of course, why would I want to empower Filipinos? It's we're on focusing on stability and sustainability, because I would
Hmm.
like to present the opportunities and the potential of a long-term well-being for my Filipino men with regards to freelancing. That there are, online careers that they can took opportunity or took advantage of and took leverage of when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to lifestyle, time freedom, freedom of, working everywhere or anywhere you want, while actually earning a lot of money. So yeah, I think that would be something that I have a vision in mind. And the moment that actually experienced that for myself, I have that, I felt that obligation to actually share that to the community. So yeah, and definitely it's not easy, being a community leader, having this kind of advocacy, and being here in the Philippines, we're like a third world country wherein there's a traditional mindset with regards to work, that real work is, equated to a 9 to 5 job. I'm not sure if you have heard of that, but here in the Philippines, there's a stigma that we have, like, you're not really working if you're not going outside of your house and, going to the office and work from 9 to 5.
Yes, it's everywhere.
Yeah. So,
It's also like the global thing.
yeah. So, yeah, that's for me.
Like fully understand. I see actually while I was listening to you, I felt that it has a lot of like patriotism for the country. Like true one that you want really like to improve lives of people in your country. It's not like something global. Hey, I want to solve like water problem in Africa. It's like really to your local country. It's about your like neighbors and all this kind of stuff. I found it really beautiful actually. And on my side, it is a bit like different way in a way that I'm originally from Russia. I spent 17 years. At 17, I have immigrated to Czech Republic to the Europe. So I've spent like half life in Russia, half life in Europe, and I've seen like also like third party country and a lot of other countries how it different, etc. But what I found interesting during the last years and why we're here speaking about like freelancing and payment on the side of Archway is that with the whole set of like globalization trends that were happening during the last 15 years. First, it was like in terms of like production in China and all this kind of stuff. After the COVID, the next level of globalization happened. Basically, companies in Europe, first of all, understood okay, people shouldn't actually go to the office and spend all the time in the office. They can work from home. Everyone was afraid, everyone was pissed off about what is happening with pandemic, but then suddenly everyone understood that everything is fine. I was recently visiting like the office of the previous company when I was like when I've actually like built up a lot of my skills, and before this office was full of people, and now I came on Friday speaking like to my ex boss, and I was asking where is everyone, like do we have vacations or something, and he was like no, it's like just home office is normal, and also yes, vacation, it's summer, etc. But at least it's an office that can like fit into 100 people, and there were only like 10 probably maximum, like the rest was like home officing on the projects, some were visiting clients. It's really like became empty. So like office buildings now are half empty. You don't need to have so big offices at all. And what we have observed also during the COVID, that not only offices left empty, but also that companies start to think about, okay, if this is possible with local employees, what is the difference with a person who is sitting on the opposite side of the globe if he can do the same stuff for less money? So in general, there was starting the whole circle of thinking about like optimization in terms of finances and costs. But there is also another trend that is going to be global, and it is really high. Like for US, it is also true for the Europe. We are gonna miss brains in Europe. Basically, people who are able to do creative job, smart level job, etc. And even despite the fact that there is like AI on the market and everyone is saying, hey, it's gonna take out jobs from people who are doing like creative job, like copywriting, etc. support. It is happening, but still there is like AI is just a way how to do things better, and you still need like operators of AI at the end. So many people like from actually third party countries have a huge possibility to become a good employees and good experts if they will start to utilize those tools in the best way possible. They would be able to do that on the level of a person like from Europe without any difference. So we've seen that a lot of people, a lot of companies from Europe and West starting to hire people from overseas countries. It became really huge trend. Main problem is that despite of this globalization of digital works, banks and financial systems have a huge lag. In general, banking systems lagging like for 10 years. The transfers working pretty well in terms of Western market inside of Europe, and even between like US and Europe, money still are flying like for 3 days, 4 days sometimes. It's not super quick, super efficient as you would do that. So that's why we're building a system that helps to bring money almost immediately with good fees and save money on that, and basically like connecting both parties, playing on that globalization role. So this is where we are right now. And Philippines becoming one of the most trending markets in terms of how many freelancers are coming from that country and how many freelancers are working to the West from those countries. And here I have a huge set of questions to you, Sean. As you're really deep in that community, can you tell us, maybe like from historical perspective, how the heck it's happened? Why Philippines is so trend right now? What is the history behind that?
All right. Okay. So I would like to, at least go overview what's the current situation of freelancing here in the Philippines. So more likely the freelance industry has undergone a significant transformation in the recent years, as I mentioned a while ago. So it is now a substantial sector with millions of individuals, worldwide offering in their skills and services for either on project by project basis or a full-time, career. So freelancers can actually work in various professional fields, especially here in the Philippines, including, writing, designing, programming, consulting, digital marketing. So online platforms are and marketplaces, have made it easier for freelancers to find clients and projects. So it actually allows, greater flexibility and autonomy with regards to how Filipino freelancers can be able to actual access to actual works on this kind of jobs online. So the shift towards freelancing has been driven by the rise of the gig economy, advancements in technology, the digital era right now, and changing workforce trends, and it actually allows to really give birth to this kind of opportunities for Filipinos. So just to share with you, Anton, that the Philippines right now has one of the fastest growing freelancing workforces in the world. So between like 2019 up to the present, the freelance revenue grew by an astounding 208% already, which is the highest currently right now in all of Asia. So it started actually, there's a pattern, as we've mentioned, during the pandemic, wherein everyone has, shifted their mind or have looked for opportunities to work online. And as of the moment, I just want to give a good number. Currently there are 1.5 million registered Filipinos that are freelancers on international platforms. So it's no surprise that the Philippines is one of the fastest growing uh, freelancing market in the world. Okay, so with what you're asking a while ago is that why Philippines? So Western countries have been, increasingly drawn to Filipino freelancers due to their, due to our unique combination of skills, work ethic, and culture. And that includes more likely the way we communicate. And Philippines has been known, you know, as a large pool educated, highly educated individuals, especially on English proficiency, because Philippines, our second language is English. So just to give a quick background on the history, why is it that Philippines has this kind of language, or why is it that we have that kind of second language? So the Philippines has a unique historical background with regards to, English proficiency. So after the Philippine Revolution, the country was, governed by the United States from 1898 to 1946. So during this period, American English was imposed as the language of education to government and to trade. So as a result, Filipinos were exposed to English from an early age, making it a widely spoken language. So this legacy has, persisted with many Filipinos speaking English fluently. So in addition, the country's strategic location has also made English an essential tool for international communication and commerce. So, yeah, I think that's the reason why
Mhm.
Filipinos are good in speaking in English.
I really want to like make compliments on that because like among many, we personally in Archery Finance, we have four people already who are like from Philippines. And one of the huge reasons is exactly like the knowledge of English. And it's not in terms of like that writing skills, etc., but also like speaking English is really on a great level. So it's like to whoever Filipinese person would speak, it would be totally, it would be different. You can like say, hey, this is person from India, this is person like from Pakistan. When you're speaking with person from Philippines, you might already start to guess where this person is from if you just hear the voice. And this is what I really love about that. So anyone who is on Philippines, I think this is like a huge unfair advantage to many, many other countries in the ASEA region or APAC region who also speaks English. And because English on Philippines is really on the great level. And in terms of like education, you've told that you have a lot of highly educated people on the market. In general, can I ask you how government looks like right now on the freelancing opportunity, and what are the programs and how in general government is approaching support of this freelancing movement and its development? Is there any educational programs? Is there universities, or how usually people becoming freelancers? Because it's a huge growth trend, but I suppose it wouldn't made the way that government decided 5 years ago. Okay, right now we're going to educate everyone as a freelancer. So it wasn't the purpose. It wasn't like how it was done. So what it was the reality.
All right. Okay. So with regards to that, just to give a quick situation, quick overview of what's happening right now. Philippines is still known to be a country wherein we value so much education. So when I say education, you have to study, from preschool, elementary, junior, senior high school, and then step into college, and then have your actual diploma for you to actually, make money. You know, you have to have that diploma to actually have a good life. We still have that kind of, traditional mindset. But yeah, with what's happening right now, with the current rise of the digital age, and people are more getting more uh, open-minded with regards to taking a leverage of the freelancing industry. Also, many people are already attracted to it, but still, there's still a need of big effort to actually make it known to more Filipinos, because it's not being taught in school. It's not being taught in the industry. It's still not yet there. But definitely, just to share with you, I'm one of the community leaders and coaches of one of the communities that I have. And our goal, or the vision that we have is like, make freelancers mentioned as the same breath as engineers, lawyers, and doctors. So that's our vision. Well, we know everyone that engineers, doctors, especially here in the Philippines, if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, you're a big deal. I mean, I think it's for global, it's a global thing that if you are, if
Yeah.
you belong to those kind of jobs, then you're someone higher in the society. You're like earning much than the normal person. And then here comes our vision wherein we actually promote that freelancers can also have that kind of level of education, that kind of expertise with regards to how to handle businesses, because this is a like you're serving businesses, you're serving clients globally, and that actually makes us far more better than those blue collar jobs, or those kind of stigma with regards to the great workers in the world. But yeah, the government right now has caught that attention that there are already, there's a lot of Filipinos already transitioning into the freelancing or in the online careers. So, for example, we have like here in the Philippines, the ICT, we have TESDA, who are providing free trainings and free education for Filipinos who would want to learn social media management, virtual assistants, executive virtual assistant, um, customer service careers, online work from home jobs that serves, global market. And yeah, right now I'm also part of, I've actually given a talk 2 days ago, wherein actually has been attended by almost 400 people, all around the Philippines. I've given a talk about, a specific topic with regards to freelancing, and our audience was freelancers who are accountants, certified public accountants, bookkeepers, auditors, and even government employees. We're actually seeking some opportunities also in the online space. So I think we're gaining good traction right now with regards to how it is right now in the Philippines. But there, as I've said, there's no yet formal education for that. More likely, the education that we have are freelancers. We're able to learn online also. So going back, I was talking about the education process or system here in the Philippines when it comes to freelancing. And just to share with you again, it's not yet there where it's not being taught on universities or in colleges yet. But there are already some programs that the government initiates to do, like free trainings, virtual assistant trainings, and all those stuff with regards to customer service, serving global clients. And there are also communities that are actually offering free courses and even paid courses to actually develop your freelancing skills, how to learn to become a freelancer. I myself have our programs with our communities that actually teach freelancers how to start from zero to CEO roadmap. We have that kind of that uh, uh, roadmap journey for our students. And definitely, I also have some communities that I also handle the programs that actually provide specialized skills like Facebook marketing, accounting, crypto accounting, bookkeeping, digital marketing, and even consultancy. So yeah, there's a lot of communities right here in the Philippines who have that. So yeah, I think that concludes the question that you have asked.
Okay. Definitely. Thank you for the answer. It's like really covering a lot. I have one a few more questions. We were speaking about like the
Mhm.
history, we're speaking about like how it's right now, um, made from the side of the government and educational level. But then what's about like real experience? How to become a freelancer in Philippines? I know that you have your personal story about like switching from corporate to that field where you get exactly like from the freelance how you told it from freelancer from zero to CEO. That's what you made. So what was your
Yeah.
story?
All right. So I
Or
think
in general how
it
to
will.
become sorry, in general how to become a freelancer. So people who are watching us right now, how to become a freelancer, how to make a transition.
All right. So there's a lot of ways to actually how to become a freelance. It's a quite a subjective thing or a subjective question, or because it's like how to live. It's like that kind of question, or how to breathe, or how to drink water. There's a lot of ways to actually do that, but definitely you just have to learn it. You have to find ways to actually, how are you going to start doing it. So for freelancing, there's a lot of resources already available online. You can go to, YouTube University or YouTube Academy, or in a Google, Google College, to actually search for how the ways, the means of how to start freelancing. We have AI right now. You can actually ask AI, how am I going to start from this one, or having this kind of need? You can actually ask, customized questions or personal questions to AI. There's a lot of ways, but the first step is you should be curious. That's the first step, I think. You should be curious, because you have to if you have that curiosity, it will drive you to actually take action on how to learn, on how to know how to start. So if you have that kind of, burning question in you, if you have that curiosity, you will actually venture yourself out to learn freelancing. So as for myself, you know, the trigger why I actually shifted into freelancing is that I was working for several years in the medical field. I was working in the medical field. Um, it's quite tiring, exhausting, having a corporate job like that. And for some, it's 9 to 5 job. For me, it's like, no, it's not that. I'm like working even up to 16 hours a day, because that's the kind of job that I'm working
Crazy.
on. And being in the medical field, you cannot say no to in the job, and it's really exhausting. And I actually asked myself, is this the kind of life that I would want for myself? I'm a millennial, so I have that kind of idealistic, with regards to, I'm a bit realistic and idealistic with regards to how I would want my life to unfold, in such a young age. So I actually asked myself, what are the things that I could, do for me to actually escape from this kind of situation? Because I felt like I'm not really growing. I'm just, really working from pay to paycheck every day. And it's quite demotivating on my part. So I would love to have a life that's meaningful, a life that I can, enjoy time, and I actually a life that where I can, earn that potential money for me to actually have that kind of lifestyle that I want. So I look for during the pandemic, I actually look for, opportunities. And good thing I have some friends in my network who came before me on studying or learning about the freelancing industry. And they actually shared to me the opportunity about it. And I actually known a particular community that we have right now, wherein I am already a coach right now. Um, I discovered that I've learned that, oh, there's that's kind of online jobs that that can actually pay me like times three, times four of my current job, wherein I'm really exhausted. I just shared it recently in my social media, right? That when I was like working in my corporate job, every day that there are days that I'm, working, driving home, where I'm cheering out or shouting my heart out because of the stress. And then here comes the opportunity of freelancing, where you can work from home, even not 9 to 5 job. It's like some of the people that I've met, they're like working 4 to 6 hours a day, and they're working from home, and they're like earning that times four of my salary. So kind of weird. It's like a scam for me, but you know, um, I actually
Unfair.
studied about it.
Sounds
I got
unfair.
curious. Yeah, it's really unfair. Like I was working my ass off right here, but look at these people enjoying their life, inside their home, at the comfort of their homes, with their loved ones, with their families, and here I am, working day to day, driving to work every day, having this kind of tough life, and then struggling a lot. And then here comes freelancing. So yeah, I got curious. That's the first part for me. I got curious, and then with that curiosity, it actually led me to study and learn, and show up myself to this kind of new world to me. So yeah, it all starts there. My curiosity got me to learning a lot of stuff. it drove me to actually, take action, to learn, to put myself in a situation wherein I will be, wherein I will be gain support, wherein I will really take action to learn freelancing. So if you want to become a freelancer, I think that would be the very first step that you would want. And of course, you have to align those things. Yeah.
I want actually like to point out like for everyone because you've told that you get this curiosity, but this is like so much wish to be alive and fulfill your life with the best things you can do for yourself. It's like it's just so huge inner energy to get the best of the world, what it can offer to you, because it's really like about starting to want it. It's like it might sound a bit esoteric, but it's not. It's just like it's purely wish to get to the better level of life. And at the end, if I understood it correctly, as you should make your path towards like learning a lot of things. It wasn't the way that you were made for that before. So you wasn't like a copywriter in a company, in corporate company and saying, hey, I'm going to switch it like to the copywriting like globally. It wasn't that way. So you've really made your path, but there is like one thing behind that is moving you forward. It's like, I want better life. And this is like purely, and this is pure and very strong wish, really like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You really hit that on the spot because yeah, again, I'm not, having that kind of generational gap, but maybe in for millennials like me or, Gen Z, the generation that is very aspirational, is very, idealistic with regards to how they would want to live their life to the fullest. Because we have seen our parents, we have seen the older generation on how things life unfold for them. So it gives us more energy, more fuel to actually find ways to, solve that kind of problem with the older generation. And for me, that actually empowered me to seek for more purposeful life, and of course, a big part of it is how you're going to spend your life on the things that you're working on how you're going to earn money, that's a big part of it to actually do that. So yeah, thank you so much for that, awesome insights with regards to the story that actually shared. So yeah.
I have another questions. There are like bright things in being a freelancer, but there is also like tough things about like being a freelancer and become a freelancer. So can you tell me more about like what were the tough things about becoming a freelancer? Because at the end, I also see that you have succeeded like from zero to CEO, and it is definitely like handable. There is nothing that you can not overcome. But I would like to know and let other like people who are viewing us, looking at us, to know what are the tough things, what are the barriers that you've met on your path, how did you potentially like overcome that? But we might cover that in our future episodes much more. Right now, just mostly about like outlining what are the challenges.
Mhm. All right. Okay, so of course, with all these limelights and the butterflies with regards that surrounds with the freelancing, as we're talking about it, of course, we should acknowledge the fact that there are always challenges. There will always be there. It's part of life. It's part of the process.
Sean, you had a great story about how you became a freelancer. And also, we were speaking about like the brightest part of why to become a freelancer and about all of those wishes to have a better life. But it's not only about like butterflies and unicorns and white castles. There is probably a lot of barriers on the path how to make this transition. And I would like to know what are your experience in that and what are the toughest things that potential future freelancers might get on their path to that? And also, what are the challenges that they used to have usually when they becoming the freelancers?
All right. Yeah, there's a lot actually. So as you've mentioned, it's not just all butterflies. Freelancers, you can enjoy the flexibility. You can enjoy time freedom, financial freedom even. but always it also comes with, with its own set of challenges, with its own set of trials. And for freelancers out there, definitely they could agree with me, especially for those starting. If you're starting as a freelancer, one of the major problems that you have would be where to start. Who are you going to talk to? Because you're alone in that journey. You feel alone, what community are you going to join? What what exactly are the steps are going to do for you to actually start? Um, and for that's for freelancers who are trying to, step up or transition. But for those existing freelancers already or actually have started their career, there are also some challenges like, um, the question of stability, security, and benefits. Because if you're a freelancer, you're the boss of your own. You own your own business. You do your own business. You have to actually file your own taxes. You have to actually file your business registration. You have to file your own, government responsibilities. Like for example, here in the Philippines, we have to file our own PhilHealth. We have to file our own SSS, Social Security System, and all those like government stuff. Unlike for if you're in the corporate setup, you have the HR department do that for you. You have the company to do that for you. Another is maybe unreliable income with regards to freelancers' income can be inconsistent with regards to how much client are you going to have. You know, um, there's that kind of challenge. If how are you going to maintain that kind of level of income? How are you going to build properly your business? A stable income with freelancing. Another is uh, how to get your clients. How are you going to make a sustainable freelancing business? Another is having those shady clients and late payments. So Filipino freelancers also experience that. I have a lot of, you know, friends in my network who actually experienced fraud or clients, you know, uh, not paying them or having difficulties in payments, especially it's a cross-border transactions, those kind of things. And maybe lastly, self-discipline and time management, because if you're a freelancer, you're the boss of your own. Again, it's not just about, having the time freedom, but you actually have to manage for you to actually have that kind of time freedom. So you have to manage properly your time. Yeah, I think that's something that very common to the students that I actually have or coach, you know, with regards to freelancing challenges.
So returning back to that topic, I see that there is a lot of hurdles that potential future freelancer might met during this transition process. It is a lot about like legal stuff. It is a lot about like tax stuff. It is also a lot about like discipline, etc. So you need to do your personal homework. You need to do your part of the job that on the back office that usually is done by the company who is hiring you. But at the end, you have a great trade-off in terms of freedom, more money, living anywhere you want. So in general, you are getting your real freedom in terms of finances, geography, and time, which is like super crucial for any person. And also, as I observe it, as you made this work from zero to CEO, and many more freelancers did it in Philippines in terms of how growth curve looks like, it is definitely can be handled. You just need to know what to do, how to do, with whom to speak, and who can help you with that. So for our viewers, I want to tell you, go and subscribe because this is what we're going to cover in our future podcasts. And Sean, as a representative of the Filipino market and also representative of those communities, have a lot of things to share with you. So basically, if you will look on all of those podcasts, you will know what to do. And this is what you can wait for. And I think this is like the time where we can finish this podcast. I want to thank you, Sean, for the huge energy, for the true stories, for being like so transparent and your experience, how you have that. And for me, it is really valuable thing to do that because I see how deep we can tap into the understanding of the local markets, what is really happening. Because here from Europe, we're building this financial system. We're really trying to help people from overseas to receive their funds, but it is like kind of far away observation, what is happening like through the internet, through different like discussions. And with your support, with all of those podcasts, it's just like so in depth. I love it. And I hope that would be really like helpful for the companies who are hiring Filipinos, and also for the Filipino freelancers who are just already on the market or who is going to come to this market. So really like huge thank you to that.
Yeah, thank you to Anton for this good opportunity that we're actually building. And I think I just want to share very quick uh why this, podcast is unique with regards to our viewers. Because just for the viewers' sake, this is going to be launched, or this will be going to be shown to both the Western market and of course in the Philippines. So definitely, we are like on a two side of the world, and not just that, we're like, we are also the two sides of the coin. What I'm trying to say is that, I'm speaking as a freelancer, as a representative of the freelancing community here in the Philippines. And Anton here is like speaking on the perspective, or as the representative of the Western countries who are actually employing Filipino freelancers. And that is quite unique because we can see, the both the unique perspective of both worlds. You know, I can actually tell and discuss more about, what's happening in the freelancing um hemisphere in the Philippines. I've been I've been invited into a lot of podcasts, and I've been talking to a lot of webinars already, and it's like here, it's just right here in the local market. The audience is like Filipinos, but this is quite unique because we're right here talking about freelancing, but in a perspective of, a bigger project, a bigger view of what's happening, that we can actually understand how Western countries, how our clients, in those countries are actually thinking about Filipinos. And that's a quite good uh, opportunity for both sides also to actually understand the value that we're actually bringing to the table for our audience. So yeah, I just want to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really found it also very valuable. So subscribe, stay tuned. We're going to prepare for you a lot of materials. You already can find some of them in the links. So go and try and read, and don't be afraid to ask questions, write your comments. Whatever activity will help YouTube also to promote this video. So subscribe and like it. Let more people know about this video, and we will really like try to make our job to bring you as much free value as we would be able to do that. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you in the next episode.